Hi there, Beta Source. It's Junebug here. I just wanted to get started on a few of the basics of planted tanks since Mike asked me to sort of help everyone with the setting up of a planted beta tank. This right here is the tank that I keep the undescribed Pugnax complex species that I'm fish sitting in. And as you can see, it's pretty heavily planted. What I want to talk about today is substrate and how you go about selecting a substrate for the tank that you're creating. The one that I have in this tank is actually a potting soil mix. And if that's something that you're interested in, a very, very low maintenance tank, you're going to want to Google Diana Wallstead, and I can actually link you to some information on her, which I'll do later on. She actually wrote a book called Ecology of the Planted Aquarium, and I haven't read it yet. It's on my list. Gotta get that thing on Kindle, right? But the basic idea of it is that you have basically almost a no maintenance system where you do minimal water changes, minimal vacuuming, that kind of thing, and the plants are actually what keeps your water clean. That's your main filtration system. And what she used in her tanks was supposedly Miracle-Gro organic potting soil. I used that in several tanks, and then I had a little incident with it, so I don't use it anymore. What I actually did for this tank was make my own. Look at Mr. Beta there, just chilling for the camera. He wouldn't do that earlier. Apparently he's just in the mood right now. Anyway, about the substrate. So what I did for this particular tank was I took some mineralized soil, and I'll go over how to mineralize that more in print because it's a little bit involved, but I mixed it with peat moss, aquarium gravel, aquarium sand. It's important to have non-organic elements in your potting soil because eventually the soil itself will break down if it's made of completely organic material. And I'll be providing a bunch of links and stuff so that if you guys want to read up on that, you're welcome to. I have a very thin layer of that soil in this tank, in part because the male fish, I know you can't tell in photos and video, he's probably almost 5 inches long, and he's got a bit of girth to him. He's a big boy. So these are pretty sizable fish that we're talking about. They create plenty of nutrients on their own, and they don't need a whole lot of soil to keep the plants going. And that is really the substrate's main job. So as you can see, I have minimal filtration. I just have this corner filter. This isn't exactly a breeding tank. I am going to be conditioning them eventually, but that I needed that for water movement in this tank. Because of the tall plants that I have in the back, it sort of disrupts how the water moves with a regular sponge filter, and I needed something with a little more oomph to it. So what I did was I put a real heavy gravel cap over the soil, which is why you can barely see any potting soil in the bottom there. Gravel is going to allow more nutrients from the fish feces to, I know that sounds really gross, but it's going to allow more nutrients to hold in the substrate. That way the rooted plants, like these valves right here, this one right here is some kind of crypt, I'm not sure exactly what. And I have a sage right there, and what else do I have in here that's rooted? This big tall plant in the back is called Cyperus helferi. It's a very pretty reedy plant. It's native to Southeast Asia, and I had a bunch of extra because the people that I buy my plants from like to send me extra presents because I buy a lot of plants. I also have, this is one of my favorite plants right here, and I know you can barely see it, but it's this little twisty type thing in the corner. It's a type of sword plant which is found in Central and South America, and it's called Echinodorus angustifolia. Very easy plant to grow, grows almost anywhere, pretty quickly actually, even in less than ideal conditions. So it's a great beginner plant, and we'll go over what kind of plants can be really good beginner plants and which ones are a little bit more difficult as well. And so I just wanted to give you a kind of overview of this particular tank because it's a really good tank to talk about with the substrate. This is what it looks like. I only put the substrate in a couple of days ago, but I'm quite confident that the plants are going to go wild in here once they get used to the water and everything. Alright, more to come.